It's Four Stands Up! Hello, team. Welcome to Four Stands Up. My name's Chris Addison. We've got a glorious lineup for you this evening. We have three acts who are just delighted not to be talking to students for a change. That's essentially I've done this for years, right? I've trawled this country. I know what's good and what's not in the universities, right? And it works like this. It's a rule of thumb. Well, it's very simple. The longer the name of the university and the vaguer the place in that name, the worse the university. That's essentially, that's how it works. I did, it's a true story, I did a gig about, for freshers do, 4 or 5 years ago maybe, at the University of Central England. Right? Yeah. There you go. It's in Birmingham, that's what they're trying to hide from you there, right? And as an opening line, it was a gamble, but I came out and said, UCE! So cool, because that's the grades it takes to get in! Right? And, yeah. Funny, yes, but the point is, I had to explain it to them. I find that 1 in 5 families in this country, right, a fifth of families, 20%, if you will. Point 2 in a set of 1. Express the statistic in your own manner. But, 1 in 5 families in this country goes caravanning. Why? What makes a family who don't get on in a normal-sized house believe that squeezing themselves into a tin for a fortnight is in any way going to improve the situation? It's such a self-deluding activity. As for me, it's symbolised by that 4-foot-long wing mirror the dad puts on the, that detachable wing mirror thing. I have to see what's behind me. It's of paramount importance that at all moments I can see what is behind me. You think, why don't you just paste a picture of a traffic jam on there? Because that's what's behind you. You don't need to look to see what's behind you. It's there because you are. Axiomatic dunderhead. But that's why they're dangerous. That's why our motorway system is fundamentally dangerous. Because it's boring. It's just, but you spend hours and hours on the motorway just going like a big mosquito, trying to keep awake, slapping you, stabbing your leg with forks, and eventually you just go, oh, God, I'll drive off into the central reservation. Oh, at least the pilot would be colourful. Boom. And the government got wise to this and started to put up those rather polite, rather repressed, very English signs that say, tiredness can kill. Take a break, and you're supposed to be terribly sorry and drive off. It's really struck me as being incredibly understated as a warning. In Australia, the equivalent signs say, drowsy drivers die! Drowsy drivers bloody die! I'll say, tiredness can kill. Surprised they don't just say, tut-tut. When they first put them up 10 years ago or so, we were surprised because we weren't expecting to see them, but it's a decade of it just drifting through your sight just to keep us on our toes. I think the government should change those signs to ones that say, deja vu can kill, take a break, and then one exactly the same, half a mile. What was that? Just make the roads more interesting. Every 50 miles, put a roller coaster loop in the middle of the carriageway with a sign 2 miles further back saying, speed up! You don't have to spend much money. You can just use the things we've got. You could just, like, the speed camera sign. You know the sign for the speed camera that warns you there's a speed camera coming up? That camera on that picture, that's a box brownie, isn't it? A 1908 Kodak. I think we could keep drivers awake by hiring men to stand 350 yards further down the road in full Edwardian costume. A big wooden tripod and a velvet cape over the head, and a T-shaped powder flash waiting for the cars to poof. What the hell is that? Logistically, and not to mention financially, this is a trickier proposition. But government issue children in the back of the car. Because I don't know if you've got kids, or if you've been one, maybe. Or, but me and my brother and sister, just a nightmare in the back of our car. No chance for my parents to fall asleep. Constantly, just shut up! Just shut up. We're there, we're there, shut up, you know. Constantly having to create these games just to shut us up. My dad was a genius at this. He invented all these games. There was the who can keep the ping pong ball in the mouth longest game. There was the can you wrap your brother's head in cling film game. There was the don't speak till you see a man in a fez game. And the in-car experiments, including can you tell the type of glue by chewing? And, can children breathe concrete? No, they can't. It turns out. So, anyway, let's move on from Keith's untimely death. Please welcome your first act of the evening, the wonderful Mr. Stephen Carlin.
Nice to be here in the Radio Theatre this evening. I'm just thinking of the first ever gig I ever performed, which was my school nativity play. Well, I had one of the main parts. It was Joseph. I played the part of Joseph Stalin. Now, unfortunately, I was a bit of a method actor in those days. Yeah, so a few of my classmates did die. Needlessly. Now, I know it was 2,000 years ago, Jesus in the stable, but I think that it was unacceptable to have a baby in a stable, even by the standards of those days. And we've heard all the excuses, haven't we? It was busy, there was no room at the inn. Well, you know what? They should have left earlier. Of course it's going to be busy. It was Christmas time. And I don't think much of Joseph, Jesus' dad, or his stepdad, to give him his proper title. Don't think much of Joseph. He just accepted the words of the innkeeper. There's no room at the inn. Didn't try to challenge him. Didn't try to argue with him. Didn't try to bribe him. Now, you can say what you like about Joseph Stalin, but he would have found room at that inn. It's my birthday recently, and I've got to say, the presents, as I've been getting older, have been getting worse, culminating at this birthday, where a friend of mine's thought it was an appropriate present to buy me a framed picture of Adolf Hitler. Now, I feel I should clarify a few points before we go any further. Just in case you're wondering, I didn't ask for a picture of Hitler. Admittedly, I did ask for a surprise, so I think we can all see where the confusion crept in. But let me tell you, a picture of Hitler, it's a poison chalice. Just pray you never get one. Don't know what to do with it. Well, I can't really stick it up on the wall in my house. Can I? 'Cause I don't want visitors coming around saying, well, see, Stephen, as you get a bit older, your politics starting to drift a bit to the right there. But of course, a big problem, I can't really hide it either, can I? Because if somebody were to find a picture of Hitler hidden, the back of my fridge. In fact, there was an old woman on the TV news last week complaining about the cost of heating, gas and electricity. 73 years old. She'd lived through the Second World War. And she mentioned it on several occasions. She said the government should do something about my heating bills. I've lived through the war. I thought it was a very good point. Good on you, love. Then I started doing some calculations about it and thought, yeah, this woman's 73 years old. She did live through the Second World War, but hang on a minute. She was only 3 when it broke out. She was only 9 when it ended. You can't say she contributed in any meaningful sense to military victory. In fact, if anything, this old woman was a drain on resources. Yeah. Who does she think she is, this old woman, coming over here to our country? She already lived here, but that's not the point, right? Coming over here, taking the food from the mouths of our British troops, malnourishing them a bit. They press on towards Berlin, a bit malnourished, taking that extra day to get there, actually increasing the Second World War by a day, and raising the body count. This old woman, in fact, should be tried for treason. I don't want anyone coming up to me at the end saying, leave it, Stephen, it was a long time ago. Listen, wrong is wrong, OK? If we let this slide, what else are you going to try and get away with next? As far as I'm concerned, it's a gateway crime. You don't think Al-Qaeda started with Al-Qaeda, do you? They started off stealing toffees. No one clamped down on it. It just escalated from there. I was at least glad to hear that the head of Al-Qaeda in Spain So this guy's not at the top of the Al-Qaeda career pyramid yet, but definitely one to watch. He's going places. He's probably a graduate entrant fast tracker. Charge of Al-Qaeda in Spain, a guy called Abu Dada, given 27 years in prison for his role in the attacks in 9/11, 27 years in prison. The prosecution wanted to give him a longer sentence. They wanted to give him a sentence of 75,000, and wait for it, 337 years. Let's run through that again, shall we? That's a sentence of 75,000, and then on top of that, just to be on the safe side, well, I'll tell you what, Your Honour, this Abu Dada, quite a healthy living chap, I believe. Doesn't drink, teetotal, doesn't smoke. Could we add an extra, say, 337 years on as a safety buffer? Now, I don't know about any of you guys, but personally I've got big problems with sentences of that length, because let's face it, we all know what's going to happen, don't we? But with parole, early release for good behaviour, you'll be lucky if that guy does about 40,000 years in prison. I don't want to sound like some kind of tub-thumping liberal hardliner, but quite frankly, in my book, 75,000 years should mean 75,000 years. I mean, it's probably not fashionable and a bit embarrassed to mention this, but I do, in fact, support the death penalty. Yeah, support the death penalty for murder, treason, and then people who pick books based upon recommendation from Richard and Judy's book club. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. You've been lovely. Good night. Cheers.
Carlin, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very funny. My friend Jeff, his friend, no, maybe my friend Jeff, in fact, went to somebody's house once, and there was a picture of Hitler in the toilet, in the downstairs toilet, and he didn't know, he's quite a long way to the meal. It was some parents, a friend's parents, and he went back to the table, and that's a funny thing to put in there. Toilet, isn't it? Picture of Hitler. And then, that's Grandad. Wouldn't you take it down? Find another one. No, we like the pictures of the back of your head, Grandad. Those are good pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please put your hands together for the wonderful Adams and Ray?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's really great to be here. First, we'd like to introduce the band.
Absolutely. On my left, on funky banjo, it's Sarah Adams.
And on my right, on antidepressants, it's Lisa Ray.
Hello! Sarah and I have been working together for a very long time. We first met when we were doing voluntary work in the local library.
Actually, it was community service.
Whatever. It's just words. Words. Anyway, this is a true song about something that happened in the library all them years ago.
An old lady came into the library today. She wanted to return a book. It was a large print Catherine Cookson novel about love in a mining town. And as we checked the date on the front, we noticed it said 1932, which made it 75 years overdue. Which was ironic, cause that was her age. She must have been a baby when she took it out. Which is funny, cause the library had not been built, and neither had the book. Unless there was a tear in the space-time continuum, for Catherine to go back in time and write the book the baby read. For Catherine to go back in time and write the book the baby read. Catherine to go back in time and write the book the baby. She must have been a clever baby to read a book as a baby. But the book was overdue. Oh yeah, the book was overdue. And she's going to get a fine. She won't be feeling fine. When she gets our fine in her face. She won't have much of a pension left. She'll be hungry for the rest of her life. She won't have money to feed her cats. and she might have to eat her cats. She brought it on herself, and we made this clear to her, and then we wrestled her to the floor and snatched her purse. La la la. An old lady was wheeled out of the library today. She died of a heart attack. She was 75 years old and once was a baby. But the fine still stands.
Thank you. That's a true story. Thank you. Yes. And for the listeners at home, Lisa has just put her guitar down and picked up a £600 ukulele. Although in Lisa's hands, it sounds a lot cheaper than that. We're going to do a bit of philosophy for you now.
A pumpkin grows from a pumpkin seed. It's a veg that grows in dirt. A poppy grows from a poppy seed. You wear it on your shirt. A sunflower grows from a sunflower seed. It's tall, yellow and bright. But can you tell me what the heck a sesame looks like?
Thank you. That keeps me awake at night, that one. But...
I'm a middle-class mum. I'm gonna get in your way. I'm coming for you with my three-wheeled pram. I'm gonna knock over your latte. And if you don't like it, I won't really notice, 'cause I've just seen my friend. She's a local abstract artist who works with wool, which means she knits badly. I'm a middle-class dad. I'm gonna get on your wick. My son is kicking the back of your aeroplane seat and talking loudly to me about chess and dinosaurs. And if you don't like it, then move. My son has been diagnosed with restless leg syndrome, and he needs to express himself with violence. Ooh, we're arrogant and free. We just bought the houses either side of you, just for fun. Not gonna live there. Ooh, we're clogging up the farmers' markets, holding ridiculous bread, and feeding rocket to the dog, 'cause we're Mr. and Mrs. Smart. Yeah.
Ridiculous bread might be my favourite description ever of what you get at a farmer's market. Are you ready for your next act? Yes! Would you please welcome the very wonderful Jon Richardson?
Hello! I'm in a cracking mood today. I finally got my life the way I want it, so that I can be happy. It turns out what makes me happy is living on my own in complete isolation from everyone else in Swindon. Each to his own. You know, I like people, but my view on people is just that they had their chance and they blew it. Now I like others. Like technology, you know, people make a joke of it. It's generally replaced people in my life. Like, I'm not showing off, but I've got a TV. Things are going all right. I just cashed in at the right time, I think. It's a big TV. It knows what programmes I like, and it records them for me whenever I go out. And I've had girlfriends that couldn't manage that. That is a genuinely incredible technological advance. Even if it moves forward 10 minutes, telly's on it. Doesn't matter. I just have to tell it once. Here, I quite like You've Been Framed. And my telly will go, it's all right, John. I'll remember that for the rest of my life. That is comforting to know. Like, Match of the Day is a good example. I enjoy Match of the Day. I like football. But equally, as a man, I'm supposed to say I don't know what to do when it goes off. I do loads of other stuff. I like football, but when it goes off, I've no real respect for people, and Newcastle fans are the worst for it, I find. There's a real pride about loving the club and nothing else in your life in Newcastle, which, to be honest, I have no respect for. They did a thing on Football Focus where they, when there was trouble at Newcastle, they interviewed a woman in her mid-60s, I'm guessing, old enough to know better. She was just wandering past the club in her full kit as if she was going to get a game. Feed, I'm ready! There she was, and they said, oh, what do you think about the trouble at the club at the moment? She looked down the camera with no trace of irony. She said, Harry, my whole life's in tatters. My whole life ruined when there's trouble at the club. Oh, you are an idiot. I think it's because there's nothing else to do up there but the club. I think that's why they've learnt to talk funny as well, just as a form of entertainment when there's nothing else to do. Shall we go out? No, let's just stay in and bombard each other with words. I like stethoscope. I find that because I'm so happy now on my own, I can spend a whole day without seeing people. And the theory was that if I am away from people all day, I'll get lonely, and when I come out, I'll be a better person around other people, right? Now, the logic there is flawless. The unfortunate truth has been that I'm so happy on my own, it's only when I go out I realise how much people wind me up. Like where I live, it's close enough to my friends that they can still come round, right? I like people to come round, but it's not close enough to my friends that they can pop over. Because I like people who come round, they know they're guests, they make an effort, right? Shall I put my shoes there? That's fine. People who pop round are all fingers and thumbs, and, oh, I'll get my own coffee. You won't. And I'll tell you why, because you'll put the coffee jar back facing backwards, won't you? 3 hours looking for that last time. Thought I'd run out, I went and got some more. It wasn't fair trade, so you've got that on your conscience now. You know, I just find that people I take care about my life. I genuinely concentrate on every second of my existence to make sure nothing goes wrong. And when I come into contact with people who don't do the same, I find it impossible to fathom. Like, I was on the tube the other week, and opposite me on the tube there were these 2 girls, right? That's not what made me angry. I was fine with that. It's 21st century. Get out and enjoy yourselves. We were coming out of London. It's a view not supported by a Radio 4 crowd. Fair enough. I think that's too far, John. There must be a curfew. Fair enough. we were coming out of London. Look what you've done to my voice. Coming out of London, we got a few stops out of London, and they realised that they were on the wrong tube line. And one of them realised and she went, we're on the wrong. Can you believe? I'd have been livid. Really cannot express how much that would have wound me up, right? What made me angry was, I count that as quite a fundamental life skill, to be able to navigate the city you live in. You know, that's something that if you can't do, should not be laughed about, right? And the fact that they laughed about it suggests to me that they do this so often, they've had to learn to find it amusing. It's no good getting angry, you know what we're like? Yeah, crap at being alive. And they just carried on laughing. They got off the tube, they went back, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to get angry on their behalf here, because clearly not. So I stayed in my seat for 10 minutes. Oh, it's ridiculous, is what it is. They're just laughing about it. There'll be someone waiting for him. And they'll just turn up late. And all laugh about it and go, oh, aren't we like that? Yeah, the whole world's moving slower. Well done. Blah, blah. I ranted for about 10 minutes, during which time I went straight through the tube stop I was meant to get off at. I had to get off the tube and go back in the other direction. I will get so angry at other people's ineptitude that it's ruining my own life. Because the truth is that getting stuff wrong is what life's all about. That's the last time I had a girlfriend, was... Again, not supposed to be a punchline, but thanks. Thanks for finding just the concept so amusing. In order to impress her, I don't like my brain, you see. I'd rather just be able to put it in the fridge at night. I don't... it does horrible things to me. Like, the more formal the situation I'm in, the dirtier the things it will make me think of. Little tricks like that. And when I'm trying to impress women, my brain knows how amusing it will be if I'm terrible at something. So when I was trying to impress this girl, my brain said, here, why don't you take her ice skating? Now, that is your brain basically saying, I would like to see you go ice skating, John. I don't know what. I think on a subconscious level I was trying to impress the girl by saying, oh, this is what my life's like. I just glide through life. No problems with my world, just pirouettes and smiling children, right? That sounds a bit sinister, actually. So, I took her ice skating, right? And I don't know if you've been ice skating. It's hard. I'll tell you one thing I know about ice is it really doesn't want to be stood on. That's kind of its thing, ice. It's like, yeah, I'm good in drinks, don't stand on me, I don't like it. So I took her ice skating, and the minute we got out onto the rink, I slipped. My foot went away from me, and I thought, well, I'm not doing this. So for the first half hour of that date, I just clung to the rails, moving round the edge on tippy-toes. Which isn't very sexy, to be honest. Yeah, you like this, baby? That's right. I move like an octogenarian, baby. And eventually I was coerced. She came over, she said, come on, come off the side. You just got to be brave, enjoy yourself, it'll be fine, right? I came off the side, it wasn't fine. I slipped straight away, and I'm used to falling on dry land. You know, that's where I work best. And we've evolved spongy bits so that when you fall, you go, well, I'll take the hit here, hands and face, right? Ice might as well be Mars, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how it operates. So when I fell, there was a part of my brain that said, I don't think you're falling, I think you can outrun this. If you just move your legs faster, John, I'm pretty sure that's all ice skating is. So I pumped my legs at a furious rate. This went on for about 5 minutes. I didn't move 3 millimetres forward. I was having a smile, and I thought, I'm definitely going down here. I need to grab hold of something for ballast. So I grabbed what was nearest, which turned out to be her. I grabbed her really hard, and not in a Hugh Grant, oh, how romantic, now we're both falling, in a horribly aggressive manner. And I'm sorry to say that my face was down. I grabbed, you know, whatever part of her, which turned out to be a breast. And you'd like to think I'd let go, wouldn't you? Oh, no, I really... Oh! That is mine now. And it is keeping me up. I was a younger man then. My life experience had led me to believe that when I grabbed that breast, it would go... We'll both have a jolly good laugh off to the bar. That's not what happened. She cried and fell on top of me. But, you know, you do need to get over those. I think that's when we sort of got together, because we were both on the floor laughing. And if you're going to be on the floor with razor blades flying towards you, attached to out-of-control pensioners, you might as well have a smile on your face. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your attention. Take care. Good night.
Jon Richardson! Ladies and gentlemen, that was 4 Stands Up. You listened to Stephen Carlin, Addington Ray, Jon Richardson. I've been Chris Addington, and the producer was Sam Misha.